Hello, I'm Paul Beckwith. My sidekick Shackleton is previously indisposed, unless he hears me talking and decides about that he's missing out on such a fun gig. Who knows? He may show up. But anyway, I'm going to talk all about the game of Risk in real life. This is real life Risk, abrupt climate disruption. What about that hail in Mexico? 1.5 meters of hail, over 3 feet, three and a half, even more. Overnight. Sunday, people wake up and boom, they're covered in hail. This is an area about 5,000 feet up in the West Mexico in the mountains, Guadalajara. I'm going to talk all about the climatology and meteorology that caused that to happen. The French heat wave, the European heat wave, has broke, but will it come back, and will it come back with a vengeance, even stronger? An extensive report was published that is attributing it. It's looking at how climate change played an enormous role in increasing the probability of this event, and in also it talks a lot of there's a lot of comparisons to the 2013 event. Of course, mortality numbers haven't come in yet, but hopefully they're not too high. Hopefully people were a lot more prepared for this report. There was massive flooding in Siberia in a place called Irkutsk, and I'm sure most of you that have played the game of Risk know where Irkutsk is, because it's one of the major countries in the game of Risk. So, like I said, the game of Risk is coming to live. It's becoming reality television, if you like. Disaster coming to a place near you. There's been unprecedented wildfires north of the Arctic Circle in the month of June. So I'm also going to talk about that. And you can actually see where those fires are. Just go to Earth Null School, go to chemistry, look at NO2, or look at CO, carbon monoxide, or sulfur dioxide, and then you can scroll back in time with the double arrow backwards and have a look at where these fires are, when they start, and so on. Monitor themselves. Speaking of northern regions, baked Alaskan is occurring right now. Record temperatures, blowing previous temperatures away. A very, very strong ridge is going clear over Alaska, and it's just parked there. And it means that the beaches in Alaska are completely full with people. Water temperatures are unprecedentedly high off Alaska in the Bering Strait. Trees, glorious trees. There's been a lot of talk about trees lately and their ability, if we just plant enough of them. All we need is one over a trillion. We're talking the trillion scale. We don't need to plant 1 billion trees or 1 million trees. We plant 1 trillion trees globally. Why not 2 trillion? We can suck huge amounts of CO2 out of the atmosphere. Of course, there's a lag between when you plant and when the trees actually pull out CO2, but young trees growing tend to pull out a lot more CO2 than older, well-established forests. Of course, there's a lot more in these days on species at risk. I mean, we're just losing more and more species. We're having more and more mass kills of animals around the planet due to heat waves that all are a part of abrupt climate change. One of the things that proliferated was seaweed, in the sargassum seaweed. Most seaweed is anchored to the seafloor, therefore it's only in shallow water. But there is this seaweed called sargassum which can float freely. There was basically a huge bloom of sargassum, which extended 5,000 miles long from West Africa to Mexico. Just incredible. Obviously, it had available nutrients and, very warm temperatures, and, conditions were right for this stuff to grow. So massive bloom of sargassum seaweed. That should have pulled quite a bit of CO2 out of the atmosphere. Eco-anxiety is becoming a really big thing, obviously. More and more people are recognizing that we have a serious problem with abrupt climate change. And they realize also that changing their light bulbs and doing a few personal things like that are just not sufficient. They're not going to adjust adjust. They're not going to solve the problem. We need politicians. We need this eco anxiety to go to politicians, to go to leaders of the world, and we need to declare a global climate change emergency. Okay, we need enough critical mass of cities and countries doing this to declare a global climate emergency and actually take strong action. And I can tell people what to do. They should use me as an advisor. Mussels off California have been cooked in their shells en masse, so vast areas, hundreds of miles long. Mussels just washing up dead, and the charred shells, and they've just been cooked by the very, very high sea surface temperatures, the very high land temperatures in their shells. Sea ice continues to collapse at a very, very fast rate, and if I do look tired, and I've done a lot of videos lately, if I look a bit tired, more tired than normal, it's because I'm probably am. I contracted last weekend, long weekend, or just after I came down with shingles. And if you know what shingles is, then you know exactly what I'm going through. So I have a huge concoction of medications, and not just medications, but vitamins, and trying to build up the immune system. You don't want to imagine, how do I describe shingles? Imagine every nerve cell in your body, not in your body, but in certain regions of your body, firing continuously, sending pain messages to your brain. Or imagine your bones catching on fire, and then that heat and flame spreading out through the soft tissue towards your skin, causing bubbling on your skin. That's kind of what it's like. I mean, you wouldn't want to wish it on your worst enemy. You do go through waves, and I think the concoction that I've been using seems to be helping a bit, because today I feel relatively pain-free. So I've been in it about less than about a week. I mean, it courses through your body. It's a virus. It courses through your body in a couple weeks. So anyway, don't want to dwell on that. But and the other thing is I'm reading this fantastic new book I just picked up called Fire in the Sky. Okay, cosmic collisions, killer asteroids, and the race to defend Earth. So it's all about the risks that we face from outer space, objects coming into Earth, meteor impact, stuff like that. So also, how good are we at monitoring these things, and what sort of advanced time frames can we detect these things at? And if we had a couple of years, we knew a big one was coming, would we be able to put together some sort of defense to deflect or destroy an incoming asteroid? That in the past we've had many planet sort of killing catastrophes. Think of the dino extinction about 66 million years ago, for example. The big asteroid that hit in the Yucatan Peninsula of Mexico. Okay, so let's get right on to the game of Risk, the real-life game of Risk. No cat still. Too bad. Okay, so Mexico. Most of you have heard about this. Many people don't even believe it happened. But this freak summer hailstorm, residents woke up Sunday morning a week ago, found more than 3 feet of ice in their areas. You've probably seen these pictures of the ice. Government officials scrambled to contain the damage and clear up roads. And, this is the capital of it's Guadalajara. Hail more than a meter high, and we wonder if climate change exists, said the mayor, or the governor, working with the Mexican army and the authorities to clear the public roads, etc. So basically a low-pressure area extended south from the U.S. and the Mexico border, and it had been forecast to contribute to developing storms along the boundaries separating different air masses. So basically all of these ingredients came together and it dumped the hail. So we'll have a look at this. This city is 5,000 feet above sea level. There's often severe rainy and severe weather in the summer months, but not hail, not in September. Okay, so where is this place? Okay, so go to just Google Earth. Look at look at the website, and here we are from a view. So here's Mexico here, and we zoom in and we can see we lost it here, but Guadalajara, there we go. There's Guadalajara. Okay, and from Google Earth you can get the longitude and latitude of where we are here, and you can also get the elevation, about 1,500 meters, which is about 4,800 feet, almost a mile high. Okay, the mile high city of Mexico. Now, if you take these longitude and latitude coordinates and go into Earth Null School, then you can roughly set the coordinates, and here we are. And this is the situation back, at the beginning of July. So what you can see here is, you can see if we go out here, the jet stream is here. There's a low here. See this trough here? So it's a cutoff low. It's cut off from the main jet stream. And this sort of condition here, looks pretty innocuous when you compare it to other areas of the jet stream that are completely distorted and so on. I mean, look at the distortions here. So here we have all of these weird effects happening because of the waviness of the jet stream. And when one of them happens to interact with the topography, in the case of Guadalajara, the mountains, then we got this condition where there was this, over 3 feet of hail. I mean, so this is why I talk about the climate casino, sort of the randomness of the system. So let's go on. So this is a great website. This is Nick Humphrey's website, and he did a good analysis of extremes. So extreme, people literally cannot believe them. Okay, so lots of people were tweeting and talking on social media about Guadalajara and the huge hail event. It was in a lot of different newspapers, like including BBC, CNN, Washington Post, UK Independent, confirmed sources, and people were still saying fake news because they just couldn't believe that this has happened. Colorado can get these sort of things, but not so much in Mexico. So there's just some images here. So basically, this is what we can see from Earth Null School. So this is a deep upper atmospheric cutoff low, provided the necessary ingredients for strong to severe storms capable of producing significant hail. Cutoff lows, upper level low pressure systems, are cut off from the main jet stream circulation, spinning on their own. Nick says they're like breaking waves in water. They're anomalously cold, okay, because they're like any other trough. They get cold air from the north. Now, when you have cold air aloft, well above the ground, the surface, and strong surface heating, because you've got high temperatures on the surface and moist air, then you can get strong convection and you can get hail developed. So Guadalajara is about 5,000 feet, 1,566 meters, surrounding mountainous areas. So that, as long as there was movement of the air, then there was lift provided by the topography. So these storms merged, sustained themselves for a long period of time, and just dumped hail. Now, it wasn't huge hail storms, it was smaller hail storms, but it was just a very, very long duration event, so they accumulated. So you'll recognize this picture and this picture, which I just showed on Earth Null School, and this is the satellite cloud tops, and you can see, they're covering this region here, and this is where the hail occurred. Okay, so this is an excellent schematic of how hail forms. You get frozen water droplets swept up by air currents in a thunderstorm, strong convection, right? They freeze, supercooled moisture freezes onto the droplets. Droplets can merge. They get heavier, gravity pulls them down, and then they can go up in another air current and build another layer and go up and down and then up another air current and build another layer. So they get layers like an onion. The layers that they get on the top up at altitude are opaque. Ice is formed, and then the layers that form when they go below the in the lower levels is clear. So the water just freezes onto them. It's clear layers. Okay, so this process was set up over Guadalajara and caused this tremendous amount of hail. I'll continue in a second video. Thanks.